You never know just how one little act of kindness can change the world. Doesn't have to be on a big scale either. Sometimes it's the little things, the little details that we think nothing about that might put a ripple in someone's world for all eternity. A lot of times we like to group people up by the way they look, the way they act, the scars they have on them, maybe a tattoo, or the profession, police officers, doctors, soldiers, chaplains even, preachers, on how they're supposed to act. You can get one little person, maybe two, that does something, goes against everything that they're supposed to be doing. And they tarnish the name of others that's trying to do the right thing. The way we think about that type of person then becomes how we act towards them, the things we do. In the time that Jesus walked the earth, Rome was in charge of Israel at that time. They'd already conquered that land. They could have imposed a lot of things, but they allowed the people to stay there, just pay them taxes. Well, we pay taxes nowadays, right? Pay taxes for our property, state taxes sometimes, IRS, you name it. We go buy something from the store, we're going to pay taxes on it. Well, those taxes are used to maintain roads and everything else. Some countries, they even use it for the health care, where they have the health care for everyone. Here we find that there was a tax collector that was considered a traitor to his people, a nobody, because he was a tax collector. And Jesus showed kindness one time that changed the world forever. Let's read that, okay? We go to Mark chapter 2. We're going to start with verse 14. And as he passed by, he saw Levi, the son of Alphaeus, sitting in the tax office. And he said to him, "Follow me." And he rose and followed him. And it came about that he was reclining at the table in his house, and many tax gatherers and sinners were dining with Jesus and his disciples, for there were many of them, and they were following him. Now, just stop there for just a second. See, a tax collector, a lot of times they were contracted that position out from the ones that had conquered the land. So let's take Levi, or his other name is Matthew. He is the one that wrote the first gospel of the New Testament. Now, he could have went and bought the taxes for one lump thing, and then he sits out there and he brings in enough to cover what he had paid, plus a little bit more. There's no limit put on there on how much he could charge. So that little power alone would be a big temptation for someone in that position. All right? Sometimes we get positions and we can get big head, especially whenever they treat us like crap. When they're turning around and calling us names all the time, shunning us, it makes us feel pretty bad. So then, even if we're trying to do what's right, sometimes we have that feeling like, why bother? It's not going to change things. We don't know how far Matthew went at that time. But what we do know is, once you have that job, it's a pretty secure job for you and your family. When Jesus said, "Follow me," he gave it all up to follow him. It didn't stop there. It jumps right into Jesus reclining at a dining with him. That's not really the case. It's not like, oh, let's go to your house and eat. No. That simple bit of kindness that Jesus showed Matthew at that time, it made all the world a difference to him. He felt all the love and compassion that we find in Luke 5:28 and 29. That he left everything behind, got up, and began to follow him. And Levi gave a big reception for him. So that dining, that was what Levi threw to honor Jesus, to thank him for the love and kindness that he has showed him. But not only that, but it says, and there was a great crowd of tax gatherers and other people who were reclining at the table with him. You see, if the church isn't going to bring somebody in, they're going to find fellowship somewhere else. Being a tax collector was considered a sinner, an outcast. Who else would he communicate with? Other tax collectors. Other people that the religious organization considered as a sinner. So here Jesus was, trying to show a little bit of kindness. And he was able to bring in and show that same kindness to all the other friends of Matthew, all the other ones that was doing the like-minded, that was doing the tax gathering. And Mark puts here that many of them was there and started following him, which means they were so hungry for that compassion, so hungry for someone to show them a little bit of kindness. And when the scribes and Pharisees saw that he was eating with the sinners and tax gatherers, they began saying to his disciples, why is he eating and drinking with tax gatherers and sinners? And hearing this, Jesus said to them, it is not those who are healthy who need a physician, but those who are sick. I did not come to call the righteous, but the sinners. Levi was changed to the point that he called all the other people that he knew, all the other ones that was hurting and hungry for compassion just like he was, because he wanted them to experience it too. That's what it meant. That was that ripple that started in him. He gave up all the security that he had with being a tax collector for Rome. He left it all aside, and he went to follow him. Remember I said it was Matthew also? He wrote the first gospel. Well, if you look and you read the first gospel of the New Testament was written for the Jews. It was written so that they can understand how Jesus is not just another prophet, but where Moses was the one that they see that God sent the law through Moses. He's showing the comparison that Jesus is the new Moses. That's the reason why some places you'll say, instead of a hill, it says mountain, because Moses on the mountain. He's trying to depict and show the comparison. To show them that this is the true Messiah that they've been listening for and watching for. This is the ripple that one bit of kindness has showed. You see, Jesus didn't always reach out for people to leave what they're doing. And whenever Jesus was at this dinner, at this feast that was being thrown, it never says he was doing stuff out of character. He was never taking part with any kind of sinful act. The only sinful act that they would call for him doing was communicating with those that they felt was beneath them. That was it. The point of this is how many listen to this feel like they're a Matthew right now. How many of you out there has been shunned by a church, by a religious organization of whatever kind, and feel like you're worthless? How many of you out there may have been called worthless by your own family, turned their backs on you, the ones you thought you could trust? See, man is so fallible. We make mistakes all the time. One of the biggest mistakes we ever make is thinking that we are so great, or that we don't make mistakes. When we do that, our actions depict it. And our actions can hurt beyond what words can even pay any justice to. If you are Matthew, you are worthy. If you are a Matthew out there, the same one that created me created you. The same one that created all these birds and takes care of them every single day. He wants to take care of you. If you know a Matthew out there, if you know a group out there that's hurting, that's being put down, talked about, but it's all causing their profession, well, please stop talking about them to begin with and start praying for them, because they need that first and foremost. Because you don't know if they're one of the ones that's trying to do what's right, or if they're one of the ones abusing. So pray for them first. And give them the benefit of the doubt. Talk to them and see. Maybe that's all it takes to make a ripple in their life. See, Jesus did the exact same thing to Zacchaeus, my bad. Told him to come down from the tree. He was going down with him. And in that moment, he gave up half of all of his possessions for the poor that didn't have anything. And then he made the proclamation for everybody to hear that if he wronged anyone, he would repay it 4 times over. Never says he stopped being a tax collector. Never said he left the income that he was trying to provide for himself and his family with. Which tells me that if there was anything wrong in his heart, it was totally changed right then. And if people couldn't see that, maybe they were looking through the wrong set of eyes. Everyone has value. May God show you yours. And may the world be changed through the ripple that starts in you. May God bless. Amen.